Good morning, everyone. Chris here. We are at anchor in Atlantic Highlands, New Jersey. And last night yesterday, we had a pretty significant wind shift. And the wind has been up a little bit. So I wanted to share one of the things to watch for when there has been a significant wind shift, or if you're in a tidal area that goes back and forth. So let's jump on the anchor monitor and I'll show you what happened. Okay, here is our anchor monitor, and there's where we put the anchor. You can see this arc here, a really good arc. It makes a circle, but you'll notice the circle sort of breaks down. This is part of that same circle, and then there's this stuff. And now it looks like we've got a new circle forming. So the anchor dragged from here to here, and that can be an issue. It's not a big deal because the anchor was pulling in one direction, the winds shifted, and the anchor had to switch and turn around and pull in the other direction. You can see, like, should bump my fan. It's hard to like even twist your arm that way. So if you're pulling in one direction and the boat moves, the anchor has to switch itself so that weird thing with your wrist doesn't happen. The anchor has that same problem. So now it's dug in again, and looks pretty good. But there is something else happening, another piece of software we check. So let's jump to the weather app. Okay, so here's the weather app, and we've got today is Thursday. It's gonna be sunny all day, real light, pleasant winds. Once they slow down, that's 2 p.m. We've got about 13, 14 knots right now, and then after lunch, it's gonna calm way down. Let's see, and then tomorrow is Friday. Friday looks fantastic. Little cloudy, light winds to 0 winds overnight into Saturday. Saturday looks good. And then Saturday night, we start to notice a change. Builds, it builds, and then Sunday comes. Sunday's got decent wind, nothing too worried, but there's all this red out here, pretty close to where we are. We're right there. There's all that red. We do have Sandy Hook to protect us, so I'm not worried about waves. And then Monday comes, specifically 5 a.m. on Monday. You see we've got this really intense right here. There's where we are. Let's see if we can zoom in. Zoom in. I don't want to zoom in too much or we lose the color. And we still get the directions, but I want to show you the color because this will be a small screen. Anyway, so there's where, just too much. There's where we are, and we're right on the edge of this red. So 33 knots and 55 gusts. Here, let's switch this to miles per hour for those who use Freedom units. So it's gonna be blowing 38 miles per hour, sustained with gusts to 63. And then it ends pretty quickly. It's just 5 to like, starts about 11 p.m., ends about 11 a.m., so 12 hours, that's not a big deal. And then Tuesday, we're right back to beautiful wind, so wonderful that they colored it green. So switching back to the anchor monitor, the wind will be coming from this direction. So expecting what I would expect, we haven't blown in that direction yet, so the anchor will probably have to reset and will likely drag a little bit. Probably similar before we dig in, because there's a nice buildup in the same direction as the hard blow, and then I would expect us to be right about, like our boat to be right about there by the time we are done the storm. This is why we chose this spot. We've got the breakwater here to protect us from the waves that might build up. There'll be some fetched. I forget how big this is, but this is like a mile or two. And then we'll have Sandy Hook to protect us from the big wind coming in this direction. Oh, let's zoom in again. There we are. That's good enough. What are we gonna do? Well, honestly, we'd be perfectly fine doing a whole lot of nothing. Center the boom, secure the dinghy, specifically, just honestly, just add a second line and then pull up the solar panel, because I'm never doing that again. And then For those who don't remember, we had the storm in April, and it was forecast to be just like this, and it was a little bit more. And the solar panel in the dinghy ripped out of the dinghy, and I had to go swim for it in about 10 feet of water. And I am old and fat, and it was not pleasant. I had to wait like a month for the water to get warm enough to even do it, because it was, you know, like hypothermia, trip to the hospital cold when it happened. But I tagged it with GPS-wise, so I knew where the solar panel was. Anyway, so what are we gonna do? Well, thinking back to that storm in the spring, I'm still traumatized by, you know, how wrong the forecast was. It was a lot stronger than was forecast, and several people lost their boats that were on moorings even. So we've done a thing. I've reserved us a mooring for the weekend. We're gonna go on Saturday, and we're gonna stay till Tuesday, and then we'll probably come back and anchor exactly where we are. In that short stay is $200. Not everybody has that kind of money, so good anchor, good chain. Make sure you pull down really hard when you're finally blowing. Like if we were gonna stay on anchor, the moment we were in that direction, I would go up, start the engine, put us in reverse, and go full frickin' throttle to really dig the anchor in, and that would cause us to drag a little bit, but it would dig the anchor in really, really deep. We'd be able to tell. We could reset the anchor if we needed to, and then we'd prep everything else. But I'm tired and overly cautious, so we're gonna move to a mooring for the weekend, and yeah. Anyway, I will chat with you later. I just finished my grading for the week. I caught up at like 5 the past couple of days so I could get it done so we could go to shore and have fun. And now I need to double check on what I have left for the week to do work-wise, because there's still a lot. But nothing else is student waiting. Like, I don't have students waiting on my stuff. I think I just have admin paperworky stuff to do, which I hate and suck at, which is why it always waits till the end of the week. So I'm going to do that, and later today we're going to go for pizza and go for an epic walk to walk off the pizza, because somebody has diabetes, and that somebody would be me. So if I want to have pizza, I have to go for like a 5-mile hike afterwards. So I try not to do it as often as I do. Anyway, I will chat with you later. Hope everyone is staying safe. Watch the weather, plan ahead, and always have a contingency plan. Ours were these moorings. Because I'm just nervous. What if 60-mile-an-hour winds turn into 80-mile-an-hour winds? So, chat with you later. Bye.